Hey there, I'm Crystal Zorich, and I'm here with
Mark Octung, and we are at beautiful Clearwater Shuffleboard Club in Clearwater, Florida.
And we're here today to talk to you about where to play shuffleboard. There's many places to play throughout the world. You can play at the club, you can play it in a district tournament, as well as in state tournaments all across the United States of America. You can play at the national level, which is what my shirt is representing, and you can also play at the international level, which is what Mark is wearing here from the last international tournament that was in Germany in 2025. This was the Team USA uniform top at that tournament as well. So we're gonna go into a little bit more detail about where to play. I'm first going to talk to you about Clearwater Shuffleboard Club because that's where we're filming from. Clearwater Shuffleboard Club is a great place to make new friends and learn a new game. You can play here on the weekends. They have single mingles. They have league nights on Tuesday nights, sometimes on Thursdays in the summer, it just depends. And they also do other type of tournaments like hosting state tournaments, West Coast district tournaments, as well as local club-only tournaments. They've also hosted friendly tournaments like the Peligator tournament that they hosted this past weekend versus St. Pete Shuffleboard Club. The next thing that we want to talk about beyond your club are other places to shuffle. Like in Ohio, there's a club called Lakeside. It's a great shuffleboard club to play at. In Texas, there's a city called Weslaco, and there's a lot of mobile home parks with a lot of shuffleboard there too. So there's a variety of places that you can play at a very low level, which we call the club level. I'm going to pass it over to Mark to talk more about the district level. And this specifically applies to the state of Florida.
As Crystal mentioned, she did say the West Coast District. So Clearwater Shuffleboard Club, we are part of the West Coast District. In Florida, there are 7 districts. And those districts, this is a good magazine too for a lot of what we're talking about today, this preview. I'm gonna read these districts to you. So in Florida, we have the West Coast District. We have the Southwest Coast District, the Southern District, the Southeast Coast District, the Central East Coast District, and the Northern District, and finally the Central District. Your clubs, such as Clearwater Shuffleboard Club, we're part of West Coast District. Mobile home parks can also be part of districts. They somewhat, I'll say, roll up to the districts, but not necessarily. Once you join on the state level, you are then in a district, and your club then plays within that district. As a tournament player, so there's going to be tournaments within your district. You, a part of your district, can play tournaments in your district. You cannot play tournaments in other districts unless they're a state tournament. So, important thing to remember, you're a mobile home park, you're a shuffleboard club. What district are you in? Well, now there are, outside of what Crystal mentioned, there are district level tournaments that are just for your club, district tournaments, and there are also district tournaments that could be amongst other clubs as well. And then of course the districts roll up into the state, which Crystal will tell you all about.
Once you're a member in a district, you're eligible to play in state tournaments. The FSA will give you a number, and that's your number for life, okay? You need that because what you're gonna do is accrue points when you play in state tournaments. There's explanations of how you accrue points all over the internet. I encourage you to visit the Florida State website, the Florida State Shuffleboard Association, for those details. However, the state tournaments are played in all the districts, and it changes from week to week. Typically, the state tournaments are on Mondays, with the finals on Tuesdays. Sometimes they can stretch into a 3-day tournament depending on how many people show up. There are tournaments every year in Florida that are for sure 3 days. There are some that may only last 1. There can be 2 tournaments in the state on the same day. They'll be in different districts. A lot of times they will have a similar setup, whether they're men's doubles, ladies doubles, mixed doubles, etc. So the state tournaments are different from the district tournaments. And both of those you can earn points, which we're not really going into detail in this chat much about the points.
It's complicated.
It's a little complicated, but you know if you're earning points that you're in it because you're looking for some status. Typically that's Hall of Fame status. We've discussed the club, the district, and the state, and now we're going to talk about the national level. I was a member of Team USA, which is a high honor that it was awesome, a great experience to play for Team USA at the ISA, which was the International Shuffleboard Competition. Typically, for the National Shuffleboard Association, there are tournaments every year. There's a schedule. It's found on their website as well. It's the USA NSA. They have about 20 to 25 tournaments a year in different locations. They play in California, they play in Arizona, they play multiple cities in Florida, Ohio, North Carolina, Texas, all over the place. You meet really great people when you travel to these tournaments. It can be very exciting and challenging too because you're playing courts you've never played before. Some are slow, some are fast. So the national level, you can travel and play tournaments. Here in Clearwater, Florida, there's one coming up soon. They're very exciting. There's ways that you can also earn points in the national scene and make the Hall of Fame. The USA NSA represents the Team USA selected members that get to play at the international competitions. There's a variety of competitions that come up. I am going to now pass it to Mark to talk about the International Shuffleboard Association. And he is representing Team Brazil on his shirt.
That is correct. So for International Shuffleboard, as Crystal mentioned, I play for Team Brazil for International, ISA is what I'm going to call it. She plays for Team USA. The international competition is currently being held every other year. In order for a country to host the tournament, there's an application process, and it's similar to what you might see in the Olympics, but on a very local level. Those countries are basically going to present to the ISA what their package is and that they want to have an international tournament and at their location. Last year it was in Hohenrode, Germany. The year before that it was in South Texas, and the year before that it was in Florida. And next year it is going to be in Brazil. So currently the ISA is held every other year. It is a team sport. Each country you would apply to play through your country representative. Once you are selected, then you go through the paperwork, you're getting team uniforms such as we have, schedules are getting made, all of that good stuff. You're then going to travel to whatever location that is. You've got your team with you, and international competition although we do have men's first place and ladies first place, it is more about camaraderie, the spirit of shuffleboard, enjoying the game, and making new friends. Since I've started playing in the ISA, I'm sure, Crystal, you'll agree with me, I've got friends all over the world that I did not have 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
That welcome me to their home. I could visit them at any time I wanted to. So the ISA is really more about the love of the sport, sharing the sport, but it is competitive. So it is currently a singles competition. You do have your teams, but it is a singles competition. And let's see, for example, last year in Germany, we had 64 men and 48 women, which all got dwindled down to the top female player and the top male player, who then get a golden cue, similar to what she's holding, but it is gold. So the ISA is just another way to play. You're not going to play a lot of international tournaments because they're only every other year. But I do encourage you to get involved with your country organization, National Shuffleboard Association here in Florida, or for the United States, Canadian Shuffleboard Association in Canada, Brazilian Shuffleboard Association in Brazil, etc., etc. You're going to have a national organization that you would represent to then play for the international shuffleboard competition, the ISA.
If any of you ever run into Mark and I and have questions about the different levels and where to play shuffleboard, let us know. We'll be happy to help you out and find the perfect place for you to shuffle.